Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about derivative of a trig functions. So d to the dx of sine of x is equal to cosine of x. You already know this. D to the dx of cosine of x, sorry. I'm gonna color the c is different. C, negative, negative, negative. And we're going to talk about why that is. Cosine of x is equal to COT of x is equal to, and the CSC of x is equal to, and d to the dx of tan of x is equal to secant square of x. And derivative of secant of x, secant of x is equal to secant of x tan of x. Now, I'm gonna ask you to figure out a pattern though. If I take a derivative of the cosine of x, it's gonna give you negative sine of x. I want you to figure out according to pattern, can you figure out what's derivative of the cotan of x and derivative of cosecant of x? So look at the pattern on the left, and let's see if you can figure out, using deductive reasoning, you can figure out what's derivative of the cotan of x and derivative of cosecant of x. Rebuff?
Is cotangent x cosine squared?
No. Yes.
Is cotangent x 1 over secant square x?
Nope.
Or 1 over tangent
Cosecant square x.
Cosecant square of x is good. Good job.
Oh, I actually got it.
It looks like this. It's like, but this is the counterpart of this thing. Can you figure out what's derivative of cosecant of x though? Yes.
Cosecant x, cotangent x.
Almost. It's a negative.
Right.
Okay, so for me, I memorize one side. This part is the part I memorize. And the other part, I just kind of think about reasoning how you're going to get the other side. So if I know tan, I should know cotan. If I know secant, I should know cosecant. So I memorize that one side. Now, I'm going to show you how derivative of tangent is equal to secant squared, and also derivative of secant of x equal to secant of x. So if I say derivative of tangent of x, and I'm going to show you is derivative of sine of x over cosine of x. Does that make sense? Because that's just tan of x, right? Can I do quotient rule? So low, d high, right? Minus high, d low, over low, low. So it's going to cosine square of x plus sine square of x over cosine square of x. So what's at the top? Cosine square of x plus sine square of x is equal to what? Very, very important theorem.
Just one.
Just one. And that's becomes secant square of x. That's what that is. Derivative of secant of x. Why is the secant tan of x? Well, just 1 over cosine of x. And if you were to do a quotient rule, you have low d high minus high d low over low low. So I'm just gonna do cosine of x times cosine of x. There's a reason why I did that. Because cosine of x times 0 is gonna be like this. So it's gonna be 1 times sine of x over cosine of x and cosine of x. Does that make sense?
Is it negative sign?
No, negative and negative is positive. So if you see this, that's equal to secant of x and tan of x. And yes, then you actually understand where they come from. Now, if you want to memorize easily, I have a student come up a way for you to memorize. It's very, very helpful, but it's just not very teacher friendly. So Safia, you might have to close your ear because I might get canceled according to what I heard a story about you. Not you. What happened to your sister?
Oh.
So one of my students, his name is Bobby Sina. He's like, Mr. A, I got this memorized. This is easy. And he's like, well, just look at this. This is only 2 things I need to memorize. If you got a 10, that means you're able to have sex twice. If you have sex, that means you have sexy 10.
Not true.
I don't know.
No, it means if you have a 10, you're sexy. Sexy. But if you have sex, it means you have sex.
Not true. I have a 10 and I get no sex.
Reba, that's too much information. I don't need to know that. That's your
No,
business.
feet pics are getting me closer to on time.
They're not.
I send them feet pics and they love it.
That's your business.
I got so many friends, bro. You don't even know.
You have it right by
Okay, Molly's the outlier, okay? It's like,
So there's some story we need to know, Reba?
Molly.
yeah, I sent feet pics to Molly.
Her boyfriend went over there
What?
this week.
Huh?
Bro.
She started snapping me like a day before they broke up. It was mad funny. But like,
Okay, so I don't need to know that stuff, please. Yeah. Please. I'm live streaming this.
Oh.
yo,
Yeah, I know you can't.
Hey,
if you.
it was actually all joke. Like, theoretical.
Oh
My
no.
name is Raga Brungaraj.
All right. So f of x, I mean, just some easy way to help you memorize. I don't really care how you memorize. He actually come up something on this side too, but I just cannot share it. That's too much.
No, can you share it, please?
No.
Not on the live stream.
No, no.
I'll come for tutoring.
No, that's okay. So f of x equal to 10 of x minus 2x. So I want you to find between 0 to 2 pi where find the x value where you have horizontal tangent. So this is 2x. So I want to see if you can find it. This is a combination of trig, algebra, and calculus. But calculus is only the smallest percentage of the questions, actually. So be able to do calculus doesn't really help you. You still need to know how to do algebra and trig. And this is the part that, I thought it's very, very essential for you guys to understand, is to understand how the algebra come with it.
What's it say after?
Find the x value where you have horizontal tangent. So how do you find horizontal tangent? We already learned this from before.
Equal to 0. Derivative equal to 0.
Thank you, Rangraj. So derivative equal to 0, but this question is kind of hard because the trig is actually harder than calculus. you're gonna realize calculus is actually very easy. I can teach anybody to do calculus, but the hard part is gonna be the trig and algebra part.
Cool.
And this is one of the question I think I put on the BC test. So yeah, you guys should expect to something like this, similar, like where you have to figure out the trig equations. Yes.
Power 4. Oh, geez. Yeah, power 4 and
No.
no power 4 and
Oh, it'd just be a 7 power 8.
No.
No,
9 power 4.
Matthew,
no.
you guys are missing some answer by the way, because your algebra is bad. I'm just serious. So f prime of x is equal to secant square of x minus 2, right? You set that equal to 0, and you solve for it. And once you solve for it, you're gonna get secant of x. What do you get here? No. Thank you. Plus and negative.
Oh,
That's what you guys always forget when you're talking about derivative. So cosine of x equal to plus minus square root 2. If I multiply both sides by cosine of x equal to plus minus square root 2 cosine of x. So cosine of x is equal to 1 over plus minus square root 2. Now I can rationalize this.
So power 4, power 4.
So it'll be square root 2 over 2 plus minus. So cosine of x equal to plus square root 2 over 2. Cosine of x equal to negative square root 2 over 2. Therefore, x is equal to pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. And this one is going to be 3 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. So you should get 4 answer as opposed to 2 answer. The problem, your algebra cannot mess up. You have to be consistency about your algebra. Yeah, and that's usually people's going to forget if you square root both sides. Now, if you have square root 4, that's just 2. That's not plus minus 2. So don't get confused with that part. So there's a product rule and quotient rule. So first derivative, second derivative, you can take a derivative more than once. You can take a derivative 3 times. You can take a derivative 4 times. But now notation is going to look like what? Wait, is the time up? How much time I have? So the first derivative can use as y prime, a y double prime, a y the triple prime. But by the time added fourth derivative is not quadruple prime. It's going to be like this, a parenthesis 4. That just means fourth derivative. This one is going to be f prime of x, f double prime of x, f triple prime of x. Again, when you go to fourth derivative, it's going to write down 4 of x. Now this is just a normal derivative, what it look like. That's a representation. When you do an implicit derivative, it's dy dx. d2y dx2, d3y dx3, d4y dx4. That's fourth derivative. That's called implicit. You can also say, let me take an action of derivative. That means derivative of f of x, respect to x, d to the x square of f of x, or d3 of dx3 of f of x, or d4 of dx4 of f of x. So that's fourth derivative. When you go to differential equation, sometimes they have a book notation looks like this. Now, I never take differential equation. No, I did. At the Russian professor. He's really difficult. I almost failed that class. So it's going to look like this. So there are a lot of different kind of notation derivative. Now make sure you go to nth derivative. That means more than 4. That you're going to do a parenthesis of that. 6 years ago, there was, after AP exam, there was one question trending on Twitters. It was a meme. There was an actual question, and student can memorize it very easily. The question says this: f of x equal to sine of x. Okay? And they say, what is f of 73rd derivative? And remember, you only have 1 minute to do this question. If you take a derivative 1 second, you still need a 73 second, 73 times. So, but the question is supposed to be finished in half minutes. How do you do this question in half minutes? Yes.
It's the odd number, so it'd be cosine x. Because it like goes back and forth, right?
Not necessary. It's not back and forth. Yes.
When you take the derivative of sine of x, it keeps cycling through. So, first derivative of sine of x would be cosine x. Second derivative would be negative sine x. Third derivative would be negative cosine x. Fourth derivative is sine x. Then it's divided 72 by 4. Then whatever the remainder is, you just find that derivative of sine of x.
Okay. So that's exactly correct. Because f prime of x is equal to cosine of x. F double prime of x is equal to negative sine of x. F triple prime is going to be negative cosine of x. And f fourth derivative is going to give you sine of x. And f of x is equal to sine of x. Now, if you realize this is a 4 terms, usually in math, every 4 term they come with cyclic. Usually come with the, yes, the same thing as I. Good. So it would be I squared, so it's on SAT?
Yeah.
Which is SAT?
Huh?
The one you take recently?
No, like I just know.
Okay, so this is I squared, I to the third, I to the fourth, I to the fifth.
No,
This one's going to give you I squared is going to be -1. That's going to be negative I. And then that's going to be 1. And after that, it's going to be I fourth times I first, right? So I fourth times I first, that's going to give you 1I. So it will go back cycle. So cycle, every 4 term is going to come back to the same state. So by the 5th derivative, it's going to be cosine of x, which is remainder of 1. It go back to same thing as remainder of 1 here. So just depend on 73rd. If you do 4, that's 33, that's 8, 32, and 1. Remainder is 1. So guess what? The answer is cosine of x. Now, rebuff also says cosine of x, but it's not just back and forth. It's actually back, more and more and more, and go back to original. So it rotate 4 times. So therefore, your 73rd derivative is equal to a cosine of x. Because the remainder is 1. Remainder is 1. This is also remainder of 1. Because f prime, first prime, is cosine of x. Now back and forth is actually back negative, negative, and then positive, and then go back to original. That's just going to be repeat itself. So that's that. Your homework is already posted. You can start now. Yeah.